She was supposed to come home tomorrow. That's what everyone thought, including her husband. But the doctor said she was recovering faster than expected, so Claire Porter signed her release papers a day early, slipped into her car with her hospital bracelet still on her wrist, and drove back to the house she and her husband Daniel had shared for 12 long years. She expected to be greeted by silence, maybe flowers on the counter if Daniel had thought ahead. What she wasn't ready for was the sound of another woman's laughter echoing down the hallway. She froze in the doorway of their bedroom. Daniel was there, her husband, the man she'd nursed through the flu, the man she'd once whispered dreams of children with. Only now he was tangled up with a red-headed stranger in the same bed they'd made their vows in. Claire felt her stitches pull her whole body aching, but the real pain was colder, sharper. It should have shattered her. It should have broken her down into a screaming, sobbing mess. But instead, something in her snapped into focus. She didn't scream. She didn't throw anything. She backed away silent as her hospital slippers let her be, and ended up in the kitchen, staring at the coffee maker Daniel had given her on their 10th anniversary. Her hands shook while she filled it with water, but her mind was suddenly razor sharp. How long had this been going on? How many late meetings were actually dinners with her? How many business trips were vacations he never deserved? A few minutes later, Daniel finally stumbled downstairs, hair a mess, sweat still clinging to him. He looked surprised, almost scared to see her on the couch with a magazine in her hands. "Claire, I thought you weren't coming home until tomorrow." She lifted her eyes, calm as ever. "Doctor said I was healing well. They let me out early." He fumbled, lied about being at the office, about his car being in the shop, about Tom, his business partner, dropping him off. Lies fell out of his mouth so easily that Claire almost laughed. Upstairs, the other woman was scrambling to get dressed. Claire let him play his game. "I'm tired," she said softly. "I'll stay in the guest room tonight so you can keep napping." His face lit up in relief, as if her kindness was genuine. If only he knew. For the next 3 days, she played the role of a recovering wife. She let him bring her soup, fluff her pillows, act like the devoted man he pretended to be. All the while, she sat at her laptop piecing together the puzzle. She traced the silver BMW she'd seen leaving the driveway. With a few clicks, a name appeared. Melissa Crane, 28, real estate agent downtown. And Melissa's Instagram, a gold mine. Photos of dinners Daniel claimed were conferences, vacations he'd sworn were for work. Even the same restaurant where he and Claire had once celebrated their anniversary now turned into his playground with another woman. Claire screenshotted everything, saved it, cross-referenced dates with his calendar. Every lie laid bare. Still, she didn't confront him. Not yet. Instead, she called the one person she could trust her younger sister, Naomi. Naomi worked at a law firm, sharp as nails, and when she arrived with soup, she knew something was wrong. "You look terrible, Claire." Not surgery terrible. Something else. Claire exhaled and told her the truth. "I walked in on him 3 days ago." Naomi's spoon clattered into the bowl. "What? And you've been pretending ever since." Claire opened her laptop, showed her the evidence. "I'm not walking away with just tears, Naomi. I'm building a case. If he thinks he can steal 12 years of my life and leave me with nothing, he's about to learn who I really am." The deeper she dug, the uglier it got. She found emails deleted but recoverable between Daniel and Melissa, not just about their affair, about money, offshore accounts, a plan to hide assets before divorce, even a file called Exit Strategy. Claire's stomach turned as she read his words. She'll never see it coming. She won't know what hit her. That night, as Daniel kissed her cheek and whispered "love you" before heading out to work late, Claire smiled. She knew exactly where he was. Melissa's Instagram had already posted her wine glass downtown. She wasn't alone in this anymore. Naomi connected her with Patricia Wu, the best divorce lawyer in the city, ruthless but fair. Claire also leaned on her college best friend Tessa, a graphic designer with an eye for details. Tessa combed through Melissa's posts and found what Claire had missed. Melissa wasn't just with Daniel. She was juggling at least 3 other men. Photos of dinners with different watches, visible weekend trips with different cars in the background. "Your husband thinks he's special." Tessa smirked, "But he's just one of her marks." The pieces clicked. Daniel wasn't just cheating. He was embezzling from his clients, funneling money into accounts, and planning to run away with a woman who was conning him at the same time. The irony almost made Claire laugh. Almost, but she wasn't going to laugh. She was going to burn his entire house of lies down. Her plan took weeks to set up. She played the perfect wife, cooking his favorite meals, asking about his day, folding his shirts with a smile. He relaxed, convinced she was none the wiser. He even suggested a weekend getaway to reconnect. Claire almost choked on her wine at the thought. And then came the trap. One morning over breakfast, Claire let her voice tremble. "Daniel, I saw a text from someone named Melissa." His whole body froze. She let tears gather in her eyes. "Please don't lie anymore. I know." He cracked instantly. "Yes, I'm sorry. I love her." He actually said it as if that confession made him noble. Claire pressed further. "Then let me meet her. If you're going to leave me, I need to understand who she is." He balked, panicked, but finally agreed. That night they sat at a downtown restaurant, ironically the same one where he'd once toasted their first anniversary. Melissa arrived smug in her black dress jewelry Claire recognized from Daniel's credit card statements. She extended a manicured hand. "Nice to meet you, Claire. Daniel's told me so much about you." Claire smiled tightly. "Funny he hasn't told me much about you." They sat in the most awkward triangle imaginable. Claire leaned in, calm as ice. "Daniel tells me you two are in love." Melissa nodded, rehearsed sympathy on her face. "Yes. I'm sorry you had to find out this way." Claire tilted her head. "Are you sorry? For 8 months you've been in my bed wearing my jewelry, spending money from my marriage. Forgive me if your apology feels a little cheap." Melissa stiffened. Daniel shifted uncomfortably. And then Claire struck. "Tell him about Michael." Melissa's face drained of color. What Claire didn't stop. Or James. Or the trips to wine country. Which boyfriend paid for those? Daniel's jaw fell open. "Melissa, is this true?" Silence hung heavy until Melissa finally muttered, "3 others." Claire wasn't finished. She pulled out the last dagger. "And the credit cards, Melissa. The ones you've been opening in their names, including Daniel's 15 grand on one Visa alone." The table exploded. Daniel shouting, Melissa crying, accusations flying back and forth. Claire calmly picked up her purse. "Well, that clears things up. Daniel, the locks are changed. Melissa, the cops already know about the credit cards. Good luck to both of you." And she walked away, leaving them to choke on the mess they'd made. The fallout was swift. With Patricia's help and the forensic accountant she brought in, Claire turned over every file, every email, every stolen dollar to the authorities. Daniel was arrested within weeks, charged with embezzlement, wire fraud, money laundering. Melissa, too, was charged with fraud and conspiracy. The house of cards collapsed, crushing them both. The courtroom was packed the day of sentencing. Victims stood and told their stories, elderly couples whose retirement he'd drained, young parents whose college funds had vanished. Claire sat in the front row, her head held high. When it was her turn, she faced Daniel. "You stole money, yes, but you also stole 12 years of my life, and the only gift you gave me in return was the strength to rebuild it without you." Daniel got 15 years, Melissa got 8, and Claire, she sold the house, gave up every tainted dollar, and started fresh in a downtown condo that was entirely hers. She launched her own business, then a nonprofit, the Porter Foundation for Financial Justice, helping others who'd been scammed or betrayed. The irony. She kept Daniel's last name for the company as a reminder that even the ugliest betrayal can be turned into power. 1 year later, standing in her new office, surrounded by files of people she was helping, Claire finally understood revenge wasn't the victory. Survival was. Building a life on truth instead of lies was. But here's the part that sparks debate. Claire chose to walk away from every cent of Daniel's stolen money, even the part the court said she could keep. Some people call her a fool for that. Others call her a hero. What do you think? Should she have kept what she was legally entitled to after 12 years of marriage? Or was she right to give it all back for the sake of justice? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to know where you stand.